Okay, let's dive in. You really can't avoid it right now, can you? This whole conversation about AI, what it means for jobs for the future.
It's everywhere. And
I
it's
know.
definitely stirring up some anxiety.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people are asking that basic question. What jobs, what careers are actually going to be, secure? What holds real value when automation is ramping up like this?
That's the core concern, isn't it? It's easy to get caught up in the idea of tech just replacing everything. But the material we're looking at today paints a more nuanced picture.
Right. And that's what this deep dive is about. We're
Yeah.
focusing on some specific professions that our source material identifies and really asking why. Why do these roles have qualities that make them, according to this research, less likely to be fully automated away?
Yeah, the source we're using is from a piece called Careers Safe from AI Automation. And it really digs into the characteristics, the kind of inherent nature of certain jobs that seem to put up pretty strong barriers against AI just taking over completely.
So our mission here, for us and for you listening, is to unpack all that. We want to nail down those really crucial human skills that act as defenses, you could say, and understand how AI is probably going to change these roles rather than just eliminate them.
It's more about transformation, yeah. AI as a tool working alongside people.
And the source argues that this resilience really comes down to abilities that are, well, uniquely human, at least for now. They're not easily programmable, not like routine tasks.
Exactly. They're hard to capture in algorithms.
Okay, so this is the interesting part. What are these core human capabilities? What does the source say makes the difference?
Well, it breaks them down into a few main categories. First up is complex problem solving and critical thinking.
Okay.
So this isn't just crunching data. It's about, applying judgment when things are murky, understanding context, finding creative solutions when there's no clear manual.
Thinking on your feet when the rules don't cover it. Makes sense.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Then number two is human empathy and emotional intelligence.
The human touch.
Right. Building trust, providing actual support, reading between the lines, navigating complex relationships. AI can mimic empathy, maybe, but it can't feel it or connect authentically.
Yeah, you can't really automate genuine reassurance or understanding fear.
Not really.
Yeah.
Third is creativity and innovation. This is about generating genuinely new ideas, artistic expression, strategic thinking that sees beyond the current data, bringing something novel into existence.
Like writing a truly original song or figuring out a whole new scientific approach, not just optimizing what's already there.
Exactly. Fourth is dexterity and physical manipulation in unpredictable environments.
Okay, so hands-on stuff.
Yeah. Robots are great on assembly lines, right?
Yeah.
Controlled settings. But tasks needing fine motor skills, adapting on the fly in messy real-world spaces, manipulating objects in unpredictable ways, that's still really tough for AI.
Like a surgeon's hands during a tricky operation or, a plumber working in some awkward space under a sink. That physical intelligence.
Very hard to replicate. And finally, the source highlights ethical and legal responsibility.
Accountability.
Yes. Jobs where human judgment has serious consequences, where you're interpreting complex laws or navigating moral gray areas. AI doesn't have consciousness. It doesn't have genuine accountability in our sense.
So those five: complex thinking, empathy, creativity, physical adaptability, and ethical responsibility. That's the foundation the source lays out.
That's the bedrock, yeah. And then it shows how these play out in specific careers, making the case for transformation rather than replacement.
Let's get into those examples. Doctors, other healthcare folks, obviously a huge area. The source mentions the high entry barrier first.
Oh, absolutely. Years and years of education, intense training, licensing. It's a massive commitment just to get in the door.
A huge barrier.
Yeah.
But the safety factors go deeper.
Much deeper, according to the source. Think about complex diagnosis and treatment. AI can analyze scans, look through research, fantastic tools. But the doctor, they're synthesizing all that, plus patient history, the physical exam, unspoken cues, maybe conflicting data, making a really nuanced judgment call, often under pressure.
And that patient interaction piece you mentioned earlier, the empathy and emotional intelligence, is critical here.
Totally central. Providing reassurance, explaining things clearly, building that trust, understanding the patient's emotional state, that human connection is fundamental to healing. AI can't deliver that.
And the ethical dimension, too. Medical choices are rarely just about data. They involve tough conversations, difficult dilemmas that need human compassion and judgment.
Definitely. And we shouldn't forget procedure execution either. Many medical interventions need incredible dexterity, adaptability, reacting instantly to changes, that hands-on skill.
Right. So AI isn't useless here, obviously.
Hmm.
How does the source see it fitting in?
As a powerful assistant, essentially, helping analyze images faster, sorting through possible treatments, handling paperwork. The idea is it frees up the doctor's time for the stuff only humans can do, that complex thinking, that patient connection. It augments their abilities.
Makes sense. Augment, not replace. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. CPAs, certified public accountants, another field with pretty high hurdles to clear.
Yeah, the source points that out too. Rigorous education, the 150-hour rule, that tough CPA exam, getting the right experience. It's a serious path.
So where's the resilience for CPAs coming from, according to the source?
A big part is the shift toward strategic advisory. AI is getting really good at automating routine stuff.
Right.
Data entry, reconciliations, even chunks of tax prep.
Right, the grunt work.
Exactly. So the value for the human CPA, the source argues, is increasingly in that higher level advice. Financial planning, risk assessment, interpreting really complex regulations that are always changing. That's complex problem solving again.
So AI manages the numbers. The human provides the wisdom and strategy built on those numbers.
That's the idea. And client relationship management is vital too. Building trust, understanding a specific client's needs and goals, giving personalized advice that takes human interaction skills.
And ethics plays a big role here as well. Different context than medicine, but still key.
Absolutely critical. CPAs have strict ethical codes. Using professional skepticism, making judgments in ambiguous situations, especially around potential fraud, that requires human discernment that AI just doesn't have. It can flag things, but judgment is human.
The source does suggest AI will have a noticeable impact, though.
Oh, for sure. It'll definitely streamline a lot of the routine tasks, which boosts efficiency. But it also suggests that some entry-level roles, the ones that are mostly repetitive data work, might face significant automation. The value is shifting upwards towards those complex advisory functions.
So the entry point might change, but the higher level expertise still relies on those core human skills. Okay, what about auditors? Similar story?
Very similar, yeah.
Yeah.
Similar high entry barriers, degrees, certifications. And again, like CTAs, the real resilience is anchored in human judgment.
That professional skepticism thing comes up again.
It's fundamental. AI can churn through massive data sets incredibly fast, spotting anomalies, finding patterns. That's useful. But the auditor's job is to apply skepticism, to ask why those patterns are there, to understand the business context, to judge the effectiveness of internal controls. It's not just what the data says, but what it means.
And there's a qualitative element, too.
Yes, definitely. Assessing the overall control environment often means talking to people, understanding company culture, observing processes firsthand. That requires human intuition, interaction, qualitative assessment. Plus, interpreting and applying complex, evolving regulations is still a very human task.
So AI helps find the needle in the haystack.
A much bigger haystack than humans could sift through alone. AI boosts efficiency massively, data extraction, pattern spotting, maybe even continuous monitoring. But it frees up the auditors to focus their expertise on the high-risk areas, the gray areas, applying strategic thinking and judgment where it counts most.
Again, that theme. AI handles volume and repetition. Humans handle complexity and judgment. The source mentions quite a few other jobs, too. Can we run through those quickly and link them back to those core human skills?
Sure. It lists lawyers, thinking litigators, deal lawyers, judges. Resilience there comes from argumentation, negotiation, understanding intent, ethical reasoning, dealing with unique legal precedents. Complex thinking, human interaction, ethics.
High-level management and leadership.
Big picture strategy, motivating people, building a culture, managing talent. That's all about emotional intelligence, vision, interpersonal skills. Very human-centric.
Researchers and scientists.
Generating new hypotheses, designing experiments, interpreting ambiguous results, driving breakthroughs. That leans heavily on creativity, intuition, complex problem solving.
Educators. Teachers, professors.
Inspiring students, adapting to different learning needs, fostering critical thinking, mentoring, emotional support. That's fundamentally about human connection, empathy, guiding growth.
Skilled trades, electricians, plumbers, carpenters.
That hands-on dexterity, problem-solving in unpredictable physical spaces, adapting on the job, that's the dexterity and physical adaptation piece.
Therapists and counselors.
Deeply reliant on empathy, active listening, building therapeutic relationships, guiding people through complex emotional issues, pure human connection and emotional intelligence.
Creative roles. Artists, musicians, writers.
Depth of expression, originality, evoking emotion in other humans. AI can generate stuff, sure, but that unique human spark, intention, perspective, that's the barrier. Creativity and emotional depth.
Sales and business development.
Building relationships, understanding nuanced client needs, negotiation, persuasion, that's all interpersonal skill, reading people, complex interaction. And engineers, especially in design and innovation roles.
Yeah, conceptualizing new things, solving novel problems creatively, integrating complex systems where you need to anticipate interactions. That's creativity and high-level problem solving.
So when you pull it all together, the main theme from the source material seems pretty clear. It's not about jobs being AI-proof in some static way.
Right. It's about them being transformed.
Exactly. It's not AI or humans. It's AI enhancing humans, letting them focus on the parts that are uniquely human and, frankly, harder for machines to do.
The future workforce, at least in these areas, looks like humans collaborating with AI tools, using the tech to amplify their own skill.
That's the picture painted here. And the emphasis is really on jobs needing that empathy, creativity, ethical thinking, complex problem solving in unpredictable situations, and strong interpersonal communication. Those seem to be the areas where human value remains really significant.
Yeah, it really underscores where our unique strengths lie, even as technology advances.
A powerful takeaway.
So to kind of wrap up this deep dive, the central message from the source seems to be this. The enduring value in the future of work really lies in those distinctively human capabilities that AI, as powerful as it is, just can't fully replicate right now.
Makes a compelling case for focusing on developing those skills, doesn't it?
It really does. And maybe that leaves you, our listener, with something to think about drawing from this material. Take a moment to reflect on your own skills, your interests, what you're good at, what you enjoy. Which of these uniquely human abilities, complex judgment, empathy, creativity, relationship building, do you already have? Or maybe feel drawn to develop? And thinking about that, how could you potentially bring AI into your work, whatever it might be, not as a replacement, but as a tool to leverage your human strengths and really thrive in this changing landscape?